Her perfume lingered on my jacket, but her heart was with him. That was the night I stopped being her husband. If this story stirred something in your heart, give it a like, share your thoughts below, and subscribe to Revenge Forge, where every story reminds us that pain can lead to power. I'm Corey Denton, 40, a risk analyst at a financial services firm in Austin, Texas. Solid job pulling in 150,000 a year, enough to keep our modern ranch-style home in Westlake stocked with bourbon and a view of the hill country. My wife, Natalie, 32, is a corporate wellness coach, vibrant, sharp, with a smile that could light up a boardroom. We were the couple everyone envied. Sunset kayaks on Lake Austin, taco nights at Torchy's, a Labrador Baxter who'd sprawl across our deck during stargazing sessions. People said we had the perfect life. I believed it, until the cracks appeared. It started small. Natalie's phone buzzed at odd hours, always face down. She'd slip out for client workshops, her heels clicking past 8 p.m. Her laugh, once my anchor, turned distant, her blue eyes dodging mine. Just work stress, Corey. She'd say, her kiss quick, mechanical. I'm not a jealous guy, but suspicion is a spark that ignites fast. It was a humid September evening, Austin's skyline shimmering through our windows when the first clue hit. Natalie was out running a team retreat. Her laptop sat open on our quartz counter, a client email half-drafted. I went to shut it down. Then a notification pinged, a message from Cameron Firth. The name was a gut punch. Cameron, 45, was her former colleague, a private equity hotshot with a downtown loft and a reputation for bending rules. I'd met him at a firm's happy hour last year. His grin was too sharp, his handshake too tight. The message was short. Last night was electric. Tomorrow, 9 p.m., the Velvet Room. My pulse roared. I scrolled up. More messages. You were stunning in that black dress. Missed you at the bar. My hands shook as I closed the laptop. Baxter whined, nudging my leg. The air felt heavy, like a storm was breaking. I wasn't her partner anymore. I was a man staring at a betrayal. I didn't confront her. Rash moves are for amateurs. I'm a risk analyst. I weigh odds, build strategies. So I watched. Natalie's workshops piled up. She'd come home at 11 p.m., her perfume sharp, her makeup smudged. She'd slide into bed muttering about schedules while I lay awake cataloging every detail. Her new earrings, her sudden love for rooftop lounges, the way she'd lock her phone when I entered the room. I checked our home security app, basic cameras for the front door. At 1 a.m. one night it pinged. Natalie, in a leather jacket, slipped out her car, vanishing into the night. She returned at 3:30 a.m., hair-tousled, eyes darting. I watched the footage in my study, Austin's lights pulsing below, my jaw tight. Where was she going, and with who? I dug deeper. Our bank account showed charges I didn't recognize: $2,500 for a wellness seminar, $1,800 for a weekend in San Antonio. Natalie had said she was visiting her sister. A receipt in her purse, crumpled from the Velvet Room, a swanky bar downtown, was dated August 20th, our anniversary. She'd told me she had a client mixer. I'd spent the night smoking ribs alone, Baxter at my feet, waiting for her call that never came. The evidence stacked, but I needed more. I wasn't ending a marriage on assumptions. I tracked her phone's location, not hacking, just our shared app. It pinged at the Velvet Room on nights she claimed to be at her gym. I cross-referenced Cameron's social media. His firm, pulling in $25 million a year, dwarfed my company's $5 million revenue. His Instagram was a parade of smug posts, cocktail bars, art galleries. Natalie's silhouette in one captioned "Chasing Sparks," posted last week. Her like was pinned at the top. My stomach churned. Then came the blow. My buddy Derek Walsh, a compliance officer at my firm, pulled me aside after a meeting. "Corey, I saw something," he said, his voice low, eyes uneasy. He'd spotted Natalie at the Velvet Room, tucked in a booth with Cameron Firth. They weren't just chatting, man. Her hand was on his arm. She was all in. Derek looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. "I'm sorry." I nodded, my face stone. "Thanks for the heads up." Inside, I was fracturing. Cameron wasn't just some guy. He was married. I'd met his wife, Paige, at a charity golf event last fall. Elegant, a real estate broker with a quick wit. Natalie knew her too. They'd bonded over margaritas, swapped stories about Austin's food scene. Natalie knew Cameron was married. She didn't care. I could have kicked down her office door, demanded answers. But that's not me. I assess risks. I build plans. So I waited, watched, plotted. Revenge isn't a fist. It's a fuse lit slow and steady. The next week I found a note in Natalie's gym bag tucked under a water bottle. See every moment with you as a thrill. Can't wait for Friday. Her handwriting delicate like the post-its she used to stick on my briefcase. I stared at it, the house silent except for Baxter's snores. Rain tapped the roof. This wasn't a fling. It was a choice. I started tracking Cameron's schedule. His posts bragged about new ventures, tech startups, real estate flips, big cash. He was at the Velvet Room every Friday, Natalie's phone pinging there too. I checked our joint account again. A $3,500 charge for a coaching retreat in Houston. She'd never mentioned it. I called her office. Her assistant Lila sounded puzzled. Natalie's been out all week, said she's on a special project. The lies were piling up, each one a shard. Then Paige called. Cameron's wife. Her voice was calm, but it held a razor's edge. Corey, we need to talk. It's about Natalie. And my husband. My blood ran cold. We agreed to meet Saturday 1 p.m. at a coffee shop called Brood Awakening. Neutral ground. I hung up, my mind racing. What did she know and what was she planning the day of the meeting? Natalie was at a client brunch. Her phone's GPS said the Velvet Room. Again, I drove to Brood Awakening, Austin's heat pressing down. Paige was already there, blonde hair pulled back, eyes tired but fierce. She slid a folder across the table. Photos, text screenshots, hotel receipts. Cameron and Natalie at a rooftop bar, his hand on her back. Messages planning meetups. A $4,000 charge for a weekend in Houston. Paige had hired a private investigator. She'd known for weeks. He's done this before, Paige said, her coffee untouched. Not with Natalie. Others. I thought he'd stopped. Her eyes met mine, steady but raw. I'm sorry, Corey. I didn't know it was her until recently. I swallowed hard. How long? At least 3 months, she said. Maybe more. 3 months. A quarter of a year stolen. I showed her Natalie's note from the gym bag. Paige's jaw clenched. She knew he was married, she said. She didn't care. Neither did he. We sat in silence, the coffee shop's chatter fading. Two strangers bound by betrayal. Paige leaned forward. What's your move? I didn't answer. Not because I was lost, but because I was already forging something. A plan. A spark that would burn when the time was right. The Austin heat clung to me like a second skin, but the real fire was in my chest. Paige's folder sat on my desk, photos of Natalie and Cameron glaring up like a challenge. Baxter's steady breathing was the only calm in the room. Natalie's note, every moment with you, is a thrill looped in my mind, her delicate scrawl now a taunt. I wasn't ready to confront her. Not yet. A risk analyst doesn't strike until the odds are stacked. I needed more than proof. I needed a plan that would cut deeper than words. Natalie came home at midnight, her eyes bright, her perfume sharp with jasmine. Client dinner ran late, she said, tossing her keys on the counter. Her smile was too perfect, her gaze sliding past mine. I poured her a bourbon, played the dutiful husband. Tough crowd? I asked, my voice smooth as steel. Brutal, she said, sipping fast. They're demanding. I nodded, watching her lie. The ranch house felt like a stage, her every move a performance. Baxter stirred, sensing the tension. I let her ramble, clients' deadlines, exhaustion, filing each word away. She didn't know I'd met Paige. Didn't know I was building a case that would bury her. The next morning I found a burner phone in her gym bag tucked under a protein bar. Cheap, no lock. Careless. 4 texts from an unsaved number. Cameron's, I was certain. You're my rush. Friday. 10 p.m. The Velvet Room. Can't stop craving you. My grip tightened, but I didn't break. I snapped photos of the screen, slipped the phone back. Evidence was my weapon now. I called Paige. We met again at Brood Awakening, the coffee shop's buzz a shield against the city's pulse. She looked fiercer, her grief sharpening into purpose. Got more, she said, sliding a USB drive across the table. My PI pulled security footage from the Velvet Room. It's damning. I took the drive home, waited until Natalie left for another workshop. The footage was brutal. Natalie and Cameron in a dimly lit booth, his hand on her thigh, her lips brushing his ear. They laughed, clinked glasses, oblivious to the camera. Another clip showed them leaving together, her arm looped through his. Timestamp last Friday, 11 p.m. Our date night. I'd grilled steaks alone, Baxter at my feet while she played me for a fool. I saved the footage, added it to my file. This wasn't just an affair, it was a betrayal carved in neon. The first twist hit the next day. My brother Ryan Denton, a real estate broker with a knack for dirt, called. "Corey, you okay?" His voice was tight. I heard something from a client. About Cameron Firth. My pulse spiked. Ryan's client, a developer, had overheard Cameron at a steakhouse bragging about a side deal with a married woman. Not just any woman, Natalie. He'd laughed about how her husband's too square to notice. Ryan's voice shook. "I'm sorry, man." I thanked him, my jaw clenched. Cameron wasn't just cheating, he was gloating. I checked Cameron's social media. A new post him at the Velvet Room, a whiskey in hand, captioned "New Stakes, New Flames." Natalie's reflection glinted in the glass behind him, her smile unmistakable. Posted yesterday. Her like was first. I saved the screenshot, my blood simmering. The second twist came at a client lunch I couldn't dodge. The Velvet Room was packed, Austin's power players sipping overpriced cocktails. I was pitching a risk model when I saw them. Natalie and Cameron at a corner table, her hand brushing his. A third figure joined them. Leah Harper, Natalie's childhood friend, a yoga instructor with a warm laugh. Leah leaned in, her touch on Cameron's arm too familiar. My bourbon burned my throat. Leah, who'd hosted our housewarming party, was in on it. Not just a bystander, a conspirator. I stayed in the shadows, unseen, my heart pounding. Natalie's eyes sparkled the way they used to for me. Cameron whispered something, making her blush. Leah egged them on, her giggle sharp. I didn't move. Then Natalie glanced up. Our eyes locked, her smile collapsed, her hand dropping. Cameron followed her gaze, his smirk fading. Leah's laugh died. I raised my glass, a silent salute, and walked out. Let them stew. Natalie texted me an hour later. "Corey, we need to talk." "I'm home." I ignored it. I drove to Zilker Park, Baxter in the back seat, the city's lights blurring. I thought of our early days, Natalie's playlists, her hand in mine, our drives through the hill country. That woman was gone. Or maybe I'd never known her. The third twist landed the next morning. Derek, my colleague who'd seen Natalie with Cameron, texted. "Need to meet. Urgent." We met at a dive bar, the Drunken Armadillo, far from downtown's sheen. Derek looked rattled, nursing a beer. "It's worse, Corey," he said. "Cameron's not just cheating. He's running a side hustle through Natalie's wellness company. Small payments, $4,000 here, $3,000 there. Looks like he's hiding cash." My stomach dropped. Natalie wasn't just a mistress. She was a pawn in Cameron's schemes. Derek handed me a USB drive. Bank records. Got them from a contact. Be careful. I reviewed the drive at home. Transfers from Cameron's firm to Natalie's company labeled consulting fees. Leah's yoga studio was in on it too, taking 2,000 cuts for event coordination. This wasn't just an affair. It was a network of deceit. I forwarded it to Paige. Her reply, "This is bigger than we thought. Lawyers on it." The fourth twist came from an unexpected source. My cousin Ethan Denton, a cybersecurity consultant, called. "Corey, I found something weird," he said. He'd been auditing a client's server and stumbled on emails between Cameron and a woman named Vanessa Reed, a married CFO at a tech startup. The emails were flirty, planning discreet meetups at a hotel in Dallas. Attached was a photo Cameron and Vanessa at a bar, his arm around her, time-stamped last month. Natalie wasn't Cameron's only mark. She was one of many. Ethan's voice was grim. "Thought you should know." I sent the emails to Paige. Her response, "He's a serial predator. We're ending him." I leaned back, Baxter snoring at my feet. The house was quiet, the weight of Natalie's betrayal heavier now. She wasn't just cheating. She was being played, and she dragged me into the mud with her. I started planning. Not a shouting match. Not a public shaming. Something surgical. I'd host a networking dinner at our ranch house, inviting Natalie, Cameron, Leah, and key players from my firm. I'd present a risk assessment slide deck woven with their texts, audio, and bank records. Let the truth do the cutting. The fifth twist hit at a firm happy hour. I was there to keep up appearances, shaking hands, talking markets. Then I saw Leah. She was alone, sipping a martini, her eyes darting. She spotted me, froze, then approached. "Corey, can we talk?" Her voice was shaky. I nodded, curious. We stepped outside, the Austin night thick with heat. I messed up, she said, tears welling. I didn't know Cameron was using Natalie. He promised me a cut of the deals. I thought it was just business. You laughed with them, I said, my voice low. At the Velvet Room. You were in. Her face crumpled. I was stupid. But Cameron's worse. He's planning to tank your firm's clients, shorting their stocks using Natalie's company as a front. She handed me a flash drive. Emails, contracts, use it, I'm done with him. I took the drive, didn't thank her. Why now? Because I'm not going down for this, she said. And I owe you. I reviewed the drive at home. Emails between Cameron and Vanessa's husband plotting to undercut my firm's portfolios. Audio of Cameron Natalie's company is the perfect shield. Corey's too straight to dig. My blood boiled, but I stayed cold. The dinner would be their reckoning. The day before the dinner, Natalie came home, her eyes red. Corey, I know you saw me, she said, standing in the kitchen. At the Velvet Room. It's not what you think. I poured a coffee, kept my face blank. Not what I think. I've got footage, Natalie. Texts, bank records. You, Cameron, Leah. Her eyes widened. Leah, what are you talking about? I showed her the bank transfers, the photo of Cameron with Vanessa. Her face collapsed. I didn't know, she whispered. Cameron said it was just networking. Leah said she was helping me grow my business. They played you. I said, my voice, ice. And you played me. She sank onto a stool, tears falling. I was lost, Corey. You're always working, always somewhere else. I laughed sharp. So you chose a married crook. Real classy Natalie. She looked up, broken. Can we fix this, please? I slid an envelope across the counter, $30,000 cashed from my stock portfolio, now worth $9,000. My note inside: for your new life. Choose wisely. I didn't speak. I walked out, Baxter trailing, the door clicking shut like a vault. The sixth twist came a day later. Ryan, my brother, forwarded an email from his developer client. Cameron had been pitching a fraudulent real estate deal using Natalie's wellness company as a front to siphon investor funds. Leah coordinated wellness events to mask the transactions. The email included a voice memo, Cameron chuckling, "Her husband's too boring to catch on. We're untouchable." My fists clenched, but I didn't break. I sent it to Paige. Her reply, "This is the nail in his coffin." I prepped for the dinner, loading the slide deck with their own words, texts, audio, bank records. The ranch house was ready, the table set. Baxter napped on the deck, the hill country dark beyond. I wasn't just a husband anymore. I was a man with a fuse, and the spark was lit. The ranch house was a fortress of light against the Austin night. The dining table a battlefield disguised as hospitality. Baxter dozed on the deck, oblivious to the storm I'd orchestrated. The slide deck was loaded, Natalie's texts, Cameron's smug audio, Leah's bank records, all poised to strike. The networking dinner wasn't about connections. It was about consequences. The hill country loomed dark beyond the windows, a silent witness to what was coming. Guests arrived at 7 p.m. sharp. Natalie first, her blue eyes guarded her smile, a fragile mask. She wore the earrings I'd given her for our 7th anniversary, a bitter twist. Cameron followed, all polish and confidence, his suit screaming money. Leah trailed, her yoga instructor poise, cracking her gaze darting. Derek, my compliance officer friend, brought 2 senior VPs from our firm, their presence anchoring the room. Paige, Cameron's wife, was last, her eyes meeting mine with a warrior's nod. The table was set, the air electric with secrets. I raised a bourbon glass. To choices, I said, my voice cold as granite. And the truth they hide. Natalie's hand trembled on her wine. Cameron's smirk flickered. Leah stared at her plate. I launched the slide deck, framed as a risk assessment. Let's talk exposure, I said, clicking to the first slide. A screenshot. Natalie's text to Cameron. Every moment with you is a thrill. Murmurs rippled. Natalie's face drained of color. Cameron shifted, his charm faltering. Next, I said, my tone a blade. Audio played Cameron's voice, Corey's too square to catch on. Natalie's whisper followed, he's boring, that's why this works. The room froze. Leah's glass clinked too loud. I clicked again, bank records, transfers through Natalie's wellness company, Leah's yoga studio, Cameron's deals. This isn't just personal, I said, it's fraud. Paige's stare bored into Cameron. Derek's jaw tightened. The VPs leaned forward, their faces grim. Natalie stood, her voice cracking. Corey, you're wrong. This is a setup. I held her gaze unyielding. Wrong. Or is it you, Cameron and Leah, building a house of lies? I played the final clip. Cameron to Vanessa's husband, Natalie's company, is the perfect shield. Leah gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. Cameron's face hardened. Satellite. This is fabricated, he said, his voice thin. You've got nothing. Paige laughed sharp. Save it, Cameron. My lawyer's already filing. She nodded at me, a signal of alliance. The VPs exchanged glances, one typing furiously on his phone, likely alerting our legal team. Natalie sank back into her chair, tears streaming. Leah tried to speak, but Derek cut her off. Sit, he said, his voice low. You're part of this. I closed the laptop. You chose your paths, I said. Now face the fallout. The room was silent, the Texas heat pressing in. Natalie looked at me shattered, but I felt no softness. She'd known Cameron was married. She'd chosen him. I walked to the kitchen, Baxter trailing, leaving them to their ruin. The first twist came the next morning. Paige called, her voice alive with fire. Cameron's firm is crumbling. Investors are bailing. Regulators are circling. She'd leaked the bank records to a financial oversight board citing fraud. Leah's yoga studio was named in the probe, her clients vanishing. Natalie's wellness company was a footnote, its reputation scorched. You good? Paige asked. Moving forward, I said. I wasn't. The ranch house felt like a mausoleum, Baxter's warmth my only tether. But I was standing. The second twist hit at a client meeting. My assistant Mia pulled me aside. Corey, you need to see this. She showed me a text from an anonymous number, Natalie's sister, I later confirmed. It was a voice memo from a bar time-stamped 2 months ago. Natalie tipsy venting to Leah, Corey's too perfect. It makes me feel like nothing. Cameron makes me feel seen. Leah's reply, then keep him blind. You deserve this. My chest burned, but it wasn't new pain. It was clarity. Natalie hadn't just cheated. She'd resented me for being steady. I sent the memo to Paige, who added it to her lawyer's arsenal. This is gold, she texted. Cameron's fraud case was now a media blaze, his name splashed across Austin's business feeds. Leah posted a tearful Instagram apology claiming she was deceived. No one cared. Natalie stayed silent, her social media dormant. I didn't check. I was done with her shadows. The third twist came from my dad, Jack Denton, a retired CPA who'd always had my back. He called, his voice heavy. Corey, Natalie's mom, reached out. She's worried. I stared out at the hill country Baxter at my feet. Natalie's in therapy, he said. She's unraveling, trying to figure out why she did this. She's not asking for a second chance, just wanted you to know. I exhaled, the weight pressing. Thanks, Dad. But I'm not her fixer, I know, he said. You're stronger than that. I blocked Natalie's mom's number. Baxter nudged my hand, grounding me. I wasn't here to save Natalie. I was here to rebuild Corey. The dinner's fallout spread like wildfire. My firm's VPs, impressed by my precision, pushed me for a promotion, chief risk officer, a 25000 raise. I took it not for the cash, but for the purpose. I sold the ranch house, its memories too thick. A loft in South Congress became home, sleek, open, Baxter's new playground. I started boxing at a gym downtown, the rhythm of punches clearing my head. Life was taking shape, one deliberate jab at a time. The fourth twist landed at a financial summit. I was there to pitch a new risk model, shaking hands, talking numbers. Cameron was there too, a ghost of his former self, peddling a desperate startup. Our eyes met across the crowd. His face twitched like he knew his world was ash. I walked over slow, my voice low. Corey, he said, forcing a grin. Let's bury the hatchet. Yeah, I didn't blink. Your deals are dead, Cameron. Your name's toxic. There's no hatchet to bury. He flinched, his polish gone. You rigged this. You and Paige. You rigged your own fall, I said. Test her lawyer if you think I'm bluffing. I turned away, his silence louder than any retort. Later, Paige texted Cameron's firm was bankrupt. He faced charges. Leah's studio was shuttered. Natalie's company was gone, her name mud. Months passed. I dove into work, landed a $20 million client portfolio. Baxter and I took weekend drives, the Texas sun a balm. I volunteered at a local financial literacy program teaching young professionals to spot scams. It wasn't about redemption. It was about building something real. The fifth twist came from an unexpected source. Derek, my colleague, forwarded a blog post from a local startup scene insider. It detailed Cameron's fraud, naming Natalie as a duped accomplice. The post included a leaked email from Natalie to Cameron sent weeks before the dinner. I'm scared, Cam. What if Corey finds out? His reply. He won't. You're too good for him anyway. My stomach twisted, not with anger, but with pity. She'd been a pawn and she'd paid the price. Then Natalie sent a letter delivered to my loft. Corey, it began, I destroyed us. Cameron and Leah used me, but I let them. I was chasing a feeling I thought I'd lost. I'm in therapy learning why I hurt you. I'm sorry. I'll carry this forever. I read it once, set it aside. The envelope with the 30000 was still unopened, returned by her sister. I donated it to the literacy program, no note. I didn't need her money. I didn't need her guilt. I met Paige for coffee at Brood Awakening 8 months later. She was radiant, her divorce final. Cameron's fighting jail time, she said, grinning. I'm free. She raised her mug. You free too, I said, clinking hers. Austin's skyline glittered outside, alive, relentless. I wasn't the man I'd been. I was forged anew, sharper, unyielding. Was I wrong to dismantle her world? Should I have heard her out, given her a chance to rebuild us? Or was walking away the only way to claim my own power? Like what you heard, hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Revenge Forge, because the next story might just be your favorite one yet.